Welcome to a new podcast with the two mics.
Is that it?
What do you mean, is that it?
Is that your intro to our podcast?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
It lacks passion, it lacks power, it lacks energy. It should be, hello folks, welcome to a new podcast from the two mics.
Dear me.
Look at the light!
This is TalkSport Extra Time with the two mics, and I'm delighted to say that for the first of 4 appearances this week and every week, Mr. Mike Porky Parry is here with me in the studio. Very good morning to you, Mr. Parry.
And a very good morning to you, Mike. It is, in fact, a pleasure to be here, as you know. But, it's on a very sad occasion.
It is indeed.
Poor old Demis.
Demis Roussos, yeah.
Demis, and one of my heroes, one of my all-time heroes.
Well, isn't it strange that we were only talking about Demis Roussos, a couple of weeks ago?
Why were we talking about him?
I can't remember now.
I think it's about his caftan, wasn't it? We liked his
I can't remember why his name came up, but we talked about him at some length.
I mean, the point is, the most unlikely pop star in the world, you know, when we were all kids in our sort of teens and all that, you know, forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah, you quite hit the high note. There is, in fact, I'm sorry to tell you, if you haven't seen it yet, please go onto at the two mics on Twitter and or at IROMG or Mike Parry 8, and you'll see Mike Parry's tribute, which is what it is to Demis Roussos.
It is a tribute.
A lot of people have been very warm in their congratulations to you on it.
But a few of them have tried to take the mickey, which I think is disrespectful to Demi, disrespectful to myself, you know, as a man of ecumenical thoughts when all these sort of things happen. The greatest myth about old Demis Roussos.
What was it?
That he was a Greek, but he wasn't. He was Egyptian.
Oh, was he?
Demis Roussos was
Are you
Egyptian.
sure?
Absolutely certain. He was Egyptian, but everybody seems to think that he was. He sadly died in a Greek hospital. Spent a lot of time in Greece. Was brought up in Greece and all that. But he was Egyptian.
And undisclosed illness, wasn't it? He died in a Hygeia hospital in Athens.
Yeah. Very sad because he was, as I say, the most unlikely pop star. And what it was about him, Mike, was something that I tried to portray to the world.
Says he was born to a Greek father and Egyptian mother of Italian origin.
Yeah, but
is he not Greek then?
Well, he's born in Egypt, that's why.
Well, so what?
Well,
doesn't matter where you're born.
No, of course it does.
No, it doesn't.
Of course it does. Don't
be
ridiculous.
Surely you're not one of these people that thinks where you're born is where you come from.
I didn't say that, but the point is he had an Egyptian mother. He's born in Egypt. That's two factors that make him Egyptian. The fact that father was Greece is irrelevant.
Well, it's hardly irrelevant, is it?
He's Egyptian. There's no dispute about it. So don't worry about it. I mean,
I'm not worried about it, but I think he's Greek.
No, I'm sorry, mate. I'm not going to keep correcting you because, time is precious.
Right. I'll tell you what's really strange about him, which I hadn't known, and I either knew it and forgot about it, that he was actually once caught up in a plane hijacking on a TWA flight from Athens to Rome when it was hijacked by members of Hezbollah and Islamic Jihad in 1985.
Absolutely. And, it happened over the 3 days it happened. It was his birthday, but the hijackers so respected him, they made a cake for him. Right. They weren't the most...
And they let him out earlier than all the other passengers
that's right. Yeah,
well.
Of course they let him out. And that was it. But what I was going to say about him was the reason why he was so prominent in our thoughts and the reason that, we all know so much about Demis Roussos was the fact that he...
Demis Roussos.
I said Demis Roussos.
No, you said Demi, like Demi Moore. It's Demis Roussos.
Demis Roussos.
Yeah.
Demis Roussos, okay?
Right.
Demis Roussos. And the thing is, he realised from a very early age, as I have done, physical presence is everything.
Yeah.
So, if you look like a wimp, you ain't going to get far in the world, no matter what your talents are. If, however, you have the stunning sort of visual attraction of Demis Roussos...
Yes. His caftan.
And do you know how much he weighed at his heaviest?
No.
Not as heavy as I thought. In fact, there are some people who work at TalkSport who are heavier than Demis Roussos was.
That doesn't surprise me.
At his heaviest, he was 1 pound short of 20 stone.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's not that bad, is it?
Well, no,
19 pounds, 13 stones.
I don't know how tall he was.
That's not bad. That's not bad, because everybody thought that he was a big fat oaf, and he wasn't. He was a well-proportioned singer, know. Very, very good singer, obviously. And as I say...
But he wasn't sort of Pavarotti proportions, is what you're saying?
No, he wasn't. No. no. I mean, he wasn't like Mario Lanza. You know, when poor old Mario Lanza died, he was so big and so fat they couldn't fit him in his coffin, so they had to break his legs and bend them backwards to get him in his coffin. Yeah, that's true. I know, and it's a terrible thing to have happened.
An awful story.
It is a shocking story, but that's
made me feel quite unwell.
Well,
I'm
sorry.
You told me that.
No,
now.
I didn't mean to.
There are some people actually.
Well.
There are some people saying that there are some things they wish they'd never seen.
Well, that's right.
Including your tribute to Demis Roussos.
Well, that's a bit harsh.
It's a bit unfair, isn't it?
Oh, you only read those ones out. Why didn't you read out a few of the tribute ones? You know, very nice, Mike. Well done.
Let's read you
genius.
This. Here's one from Michael. Who says, every time I hear Mike Parry now, I picture him on the motorway pretending to be a fighter pilot.
Oh, really?
Comedy gold.
Well, come on. We all do that. You said that to me.
Here's one from Mark who says, great tribute to Roussos. Well done.
Thank you. That's what I like to hear. And
David says, fingernails on a chalkboard is the first thing that comes to mind.
No, although I didn't hit the high note just a few seconds ago when I tried to do my impersonation of Demi, you'll find in the video kids, Demis, in the video kid, you'll find I do hit that high note, and thanks to our technical genius, old John there, behind the glass, he managed to, just swivel it perfectly to make sure I hit that note at the right time.
There was no auto-tune required either. No. Ron says, amazing vocal dexterity from a musical genius.
Yeah, thank you. Is that me or is that Demis Roussos?
That's you, yeah.
I can't remember any other songs he sang, can you?
Well, that's the other thing I was going to ask you, because although, that one, Forever and Ever, is definitely the most famous.
Yes.
There are some other songs, other solo hits included My Friend the Wind.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
No.
How about My Reason?
No.
Someday, Somewhere?
No.
Happy to Be on an Island in the Sun?
No.
No, I don't remember.
But one of those was also apparently the theme music or the track to some great film or something. And
Chariots of Fire. The sort of soundtrack of Chariots of Fire, which was written by one of his fellow Greeks, Vangelis, right?
Vangelis.
Remember Vangelis?
Greek, yeah.
No, he wasn't.
I didn't know that.
He might have been born in Egypt, but he was in fact Greek.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, he did a vocal track apparently along with that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which I never heard.
No, that's
Maybe
interesting.
We'll hear it later.
Yeah, sorry?
Maybe we'll hear it later.
Yeah. But anyway, look, that's the sad demise of old Demis Roussos.
Demise of Demis.
Overtook everything that happened.
He moved to Malibu later in his life,
He went what?
He moved to Malibu.
Malibu?
Yeah, Malibu in America, in California.
Yeah, Malibu. By the way.
Yeah, I've been to Malibu.
I've been to Malibu,
have you?
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Alice's restaurant, that beautiful restaurant on the pier?
I think I did.
So I'm not sure it's still there anymore.
I think I did.
I remember sitting there thinking, this is one of the highlights of my journalistic career. I was sent to LA to cover some showbiz story.
Sure.
And I ended up in Malibu, and I thought, better go and just drive up and down that marvellous coast road.
That's right, I did, I did that.
And there was this beautiful restaurant on the pier, and I was sitting there, and I had no photographer working with me, I was on my own.
Yeah.
And I just sat there, ordered a very cold glass of Chablis, had a very nice sort of Caesar salad or something. And it was one of those places where the windows were open.
That's right.
And the wind was blowing in, and I was looking out, watching people surfing, and I just thought, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was about 24.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. I sat on the pavement outside Mick Fleetwood's home, waiting for Mick Fleetwood to come home.
Sat on the pavement?
Yeah.
That's not a very good look, is it?
Well, I didn't want to miss him, obviously.
Why weren't you just standing?
Well, I was probably tired, you know what I mean? But, I mean, all I'm saying is...
he's not going to talk to somebody sitting on a pavement, is
he? Well, he is if he's sitting on the pavement next to his car, when his car comes in, which ended up being a white... what's the name of?
What?
The top American car.
Cadillac,
yeah. Hey, boy, take me back. I want to ride in Geronimo's Cadillac. It was one of those. You're absolutely right, yeah. Anyway, look, just about America, quickly. We've got to talk about the weather over there, because the weather is terrible. The worst ever storm is going to hit the eastern seaboard.
It's
going to close down the country. Yeah. People as far north as Connecticut and as far south as Florida have been told, don't go out in your car.
Well, they've made it a state of emergency, and they've made it illegal to go out in your car. Illegal at this moment in time. If you're out driving in those states, you're actually going to be arrested, which is incredible.
It is incredible.
We'll be checking in with one of our correspondents a little bit later on who's stranded. Who can't get a flight back to Connecticut.
I'll tell you how quickly the weather can come down there, Mike. Remember Twiggy had a husband who died in a McDonald's hamburger bar in McDonald's?
Really?
Yeah, she did, yeah. What was his name?
Don't know. Was he a hairdresser?
No. He I think he'd had a few problems with drugs during his life, but he took their child out to a McDonald's on 3rd Avenue, or 2nd or 3rd, I can't remember which one, and he died. And don't remember, we all rushed down there. But
I don't think I was there for that.
Anyway, the point of my story is he was interred upstate, like about 150 miles north of New York.
Right.
We all went up there on Sunday morning. I went with Martin Dunn. Do you remember Martin Dunn?
I do remember Martin Dunn. Michael Whitney, was that his name?
Michael Whitney, that's the boy. And you won't believe it, we went up there.
Yeah, he died in 1983, just before I got there.
That's right, absolutely, yeah. We all got up there and we located the churchyard where it was going to happen. And then we thought, well, it's not happening for 2 or 3 hours because we had great preparation, went up there in good time and all that. So the nearest little town was about 3 or 4 miles away. Yeah, hang on, about 3 or 4 miles away. So we decided to go there and have some breakfast, right? Yeah. We got there, and when we got there, for some strange reason, it started snowing lightly. Then it snowed a bit more. Then it was a hurricane.
It just didn't stop, yeah.
And we couldn't get back to the churchyard for the interment. It was only 20 minutes away. It was ridiculous. Yeah. Absolutely. Fortunately, neither could the hearse, so it never happened.
Right.
And
so you were stuck in this place having breakfast.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had to wait till the next day, and then all happened the next day. It was
shocking. Yeah,
it's one of the things the weather can do to you in America. It can be fierce and wild. And in fact, the Native Americans would wait for storms like that and then take all their old people out into the forest and leave them there to die, because that's the way they used to cleanse their societies.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Take them out into the forest from where?
Well,
they live in the forest anyway.
From the tepees, like the tepees, the Indian village and all that kind of stuff.
Just look at the time.
They just take them
Stop.
Only a few hundred yards into the forest and leave them there.
He's Mike Porky Parry. I'm Mike Graham. Loads more coming up from the two mics.
Circles together, hold hands to the sky, freedom of running, freedom to fly.
This is the Chariots of Fire song, apparently.
Oh,
doesn't sound anything like the actual.
Yeah. Well, I've never heard this, to be honest.
No.
I think Roussos can. Demis, yes, that's what I said, can be described as a one-song wonder. But I mean, in the nicest possible way. It was a brilliant song.
Funnily enough, I was reading an old interview with him in which he said that basically there was a time when he and ABBA were the only two acts that basically topped every single chart for most of the year. It was either him or ABBA that had a number one. Yeah.
Well, the difference is ABBA had 20 number ones.
Well, he must have had more than the one that we know about.
Well, perhaps he was big in Egypt where he was born, and Greece.
He was not Egyptian. He was a Greek.
No, he wasn't. He was Egyptian.
No,
believe me.
Well, why was he on a flight from Athens to Rome then? Do you think when he was hijacked?
Well, you're British, but nothing would prohibit you getting on a flight from Athens to Rome.
No, it wouldn't.
I went on a flight. Remember, I went on the flight from Athens to Tripoli. It was called Over the Sea of Death.
No. Why was it Over the Sea of Death?
Over the Sea of Death, yeah.
Well, you mean over the Mediterranean?
No, Gaddafi renamed it the Sea of Death. He said anybody who comes in and flies over that, eye on the Mediterranean, bit like Mussolini during the Second World War, who renamed the Mediterranean the Italian lake. This is a bit of a joke, really, but there you go.
Yeah.
But he did.
Well, I mean, I'm delighted that you've now managed to find a reason to tell your little story about going to Tripoli.
No. It's only because you mention it. The flight's there. How often did you go to Greece?
Right. Well, anyway, the point is that he was definitely Greek, and it doesn't matter where you were born.
How often have you been to Greece?
I've never been to Greece.
Never been to Greece?
No. Well, funnily enough, I was thinking about going to Greece last summer for a holiday. I was thinking about going this summer, but now with all the the political machinations, last year, one of the reasons I didn't go last year was because of all the riots, and I thought to myself, it doesn't seem like a very good place to go.
I think it's amazing the outcome of this election in Greece, because basically what the Greek people have said is that we don't want austerity anymore because we're fed up with it. Well, I don't blame them for that. No. So they've decided...
Because you can blame the government for getting them into that mess.
Yeah. But they've now decided, I think we'd like to start spending again. They seem to have missed the problem in the middle of that argument, which is they haven't got any money.
They haven't got any money, no.
So unless they've...
They don't bother collecting taxes either.
No, exactly, yeah. So unless they've discovered, some Greek scientist presumably has discovered a method to turn olive groves into money trees or something like that, and that's where all the drachmas
Well,
grow.
funnily enough, one of the reasons why they haven't got any money is ever since they got co-opted into the European Union and they've been given the euro, it's actually worked completely in reverse for them, because they now export all their olive oil to Germany, but the Germans actually make olive oil cheaper than the Greeks can make it in euros, and so nobody buys the olive oil from Greece anymore.
Is that right?
Yeah,
is that why they collapsed?
That's one of the reasons, yeah.
And presumably Germany's full of immigrants from places like Greece and Turkey who know how to make olive oil.
Well, it's not so much that. It's just that it hasn't helped them. The whole kind of idea of them getting into the European Union and getting the euro has been a complete and utter disaster.
Yeah.
And now the Germans are all saying, well, you've got to do what we tell you. And it's like, well, hang on a second. You were the ones that told us to do this in the first place.
That's
why we're all messed up. Now, we've got a call from Nad in Los Angeles. He wants to talk to us about Malibu.
Yeah.
Nad, a very good morning to you. Welcome. Nad, are you there?
Hi, this is Nad. I'm here. I think I have a very poor reception here.
Oh, that's okay. We can hear you.
Well, we can hear you. What would you like to say?
All right. You know what? It's amazing. You were talking. I'm driving my Cadillac ATS, which is a new one, in Malibu in rain, and you were talking about all three of them. Probably I go buy a lottery ticket or something.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Yeah.
So you're saying that because of all the things that you just heard us talking about. What about? Can you tell us whether Alice's restaurant is still there?
You know, I don't know about the restaurant in question. I'm driving here in Malibu. I just went into Topanga Canyon, but there are lots of good restaurants there.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah. I know there are.
Very nice ones.
Well, good luck. Maybe you should go buy a lottery ticket.
Do you live in Malibu, Nad?
He can't hear you.
Nad?
In Malibu? No, I live in a city called Calabasas. It's here in north of Los Angeles.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, never mind. One of these days, maybe make enough money to...
I'm a Manchester United fan.
Oh, you're a Manchester United fan, are you? Yeah, a lot of them in Malibu. Rod Stewart.
Very harsh. Funny enough, you can't see. No, thanks for the call.
Yeah.
I think he just thinks it's an amazing coincidence that he's driving a Cadillac in Malibu.
And we mentioned a Cadillac.
And we happen to mention a Cadillac
in Malibu. Well, it's great he's listening. Thank you very much indeed. Now, hang on, that's 8 hours back, so it's 6 o'clock in the evening for him, 20 past 6.
Yeah, that's right.
That's great time.
But it's raining. It must be part of the same snowstorm system.
But, you know, very shortly he'll see the sun setting, won't he, over the Pacific Ocean.
Beautiful part of the world. I nearly moved out there, you know. I was offered a job out there, but in the end I came back to London instead. Yeah.
Really? Who with?
With the Star over there. They wanted me to run their West Coast bureau.
To work in LA?
Yeah, to work in LA.
You wouldn't have liked that, Mike.
I don't think I would have done, no.
Too much like hard work for you, anyway.
It wouldn't have been hard work, but I didn't want to just work on celebrity stories all the time. But when I was out, one of the times I was out there, I had to go up into horse country, which is up just north of Malibu.
Horse country?
A place called Santa Ynez.
Oh, yeah.
And it was amazing, because it was just one you know, it was Princess Michael of Kent, actually, I was chasing, because she was supposed to be staying with somebody out there. And I couldn't get anywhere near any of the houses, because the horse ranches live thousands of acres, you know.
Exactly.
And everyone's driving, you know, everyone is incredibly wealthy. Yeah. And, I mean, you talk about not being able to doorstep anybody in Beverly Hills. I mean, out there, if you parked a car anywhere, you know, suddenly there were people all over you.
Security's arrived,
you know, what are you doing here? You know, and it was completely just like nobody around. Well,
I was posted to LA by Sir Larry Lamb.
What sort of package were you in? Sorry, I've just got this idea of you being shoved into a parcel.
And again, I thought about it, and I thought I simply can't work 8 hours behind time. It's just not on. You're working for tomorrow's paper, not today's, or in fact the day after tomorrow's paper. You see what I mean?
Well, that was the thing.
It's just not. It doesn't matter for the sort of work you were going to do. Would be like a weekly salacious magazine,
right?
But on a daily basis. I mean, I went out there and did a trial. It
would mess with your head as well as to what times you should be up to work.
Yeah. I mean, I did that trial, which I think I've told you about before. If I haven't, I can tell you again. About 2 English doctors who fell out because they started a clinic out there.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that.
And they were basically injecting crazy Californian women with sheep's urine, telling them it was, the secret of everlasting life and all that kind of stuff. Right. They fell out. One tried to kill the other. So one of them's on trial. And anyway, cut a long story short, after a week of this trial, the verdict came in on a Friday. Fortunately, it came in at sort of 11 o'clock LA time. Yeah. But that was still that was still 7 o'clock in the evening in London.
Right.
If it had 2 or 3 hours later, it never made the first edition, all that kind of stuff. And those are the pressures you worked
Very
against.
Difficult. Yeah. Now, somebody's giving you a hard time here. Demis Roussos' best work was as a member of Aphrodite's Child alongside Vangelis in the early 70s. Their album 666 is an underground classic, says somebody who's tweeted in.
Oh, yeah, but I'm not into underground, I'm afraid.
There are tracks by them on YouTube, and Rain and Tears made the top 30 in 1968. Oh, it's Russ in Birkenhead.
Is it?
P.S. he says, better research on Demis Roussos, Vangelis and Aphrodite's Child would have been advisable, chaps.
Yeah. Well, I don't need to research.
No.
I don't want to know
all
things.
In your head, isn't it?
I don't want to know things about Demis Roussos that I don't already know. There's no need, because, everything he did that came to the fore was the prominent side of Demis Roussos. Yeah. Birkenhead, by the way, is that where the last correspondent was from?
Russ from Birkenhead, yeah.
That's where my mum and dad came from. Prenton in Birkenhead. What's the biggest landmark in Prenton?
In Prenton, no idea.
Tranmere Rovers football ground, Prenton Park.
Oh, right.
You ever heard of Prenton Park?
No.
What do you mean you never heard of Prenton Park?
Well, of course I've heard of it, but, exactly. I wouldn't know. It's not my neck of the woods.
Well, it maybe should be. Now, listen, I want to
You drove me through Birkenhead, did you not, when we drove up to that Liverpool-Everton game?
Yes, I did, yes.
And we went across the Mersey Tunnel.
That's right. No, we went across the Runcorn Widnes Bridge.
Did we?
I think so.
I don't think so. No, I think we came under the Mersey Tunnel.
So he must have gone up the A41 and gone under the old tunnel rather than the new one.
No, I think we did, yeah.
OK. Now, listen, I want to tell you something.
No, hang on, just before you go on. Catherine has tweeted us a picture.
Sounds like a nice lady.
She says there's a live snow cam on NBC News site, but there doesn't appear to be any snow. And people are going about normally in this picture of Times Square.
You're joking?
Yeah, well, that may be why we haven't seen any pictures of snow yet. It hasn't actually happened yet.
So the governor of New York has warned people to stay in at peril of their lives, and there's no snow.
Well, so far it doesn't look as if there is. I'll have to check that out.
I know I'm telling you because you know about it, but the benefit of our listeners, sometimes you could walk down the street in New York after an overnight snowstorm and you couldn't see the traffic to your left, for instance, if the road was to your left, because there'd be a snow wall about 8 feet high.
Yeah. Funnily enough, when I was there a couple of Christmases ago, it was exactly like that.
Exactly.
And the snow is piled up literally above the cars.
Because they've got these snow ploughs that go up and down, but the snow ploughs don't just push it away, they blow it to the side, don't they?
Yeah.
And they build these huge walls. I mean, it's literally like, a wall being built between you and the road.
Well, do you know how many snow ploughs they've got out in New York City tonight?
Tell me.
2,000.
In the city itself?
Just in the city.
But there's no snow.
Well, I'm going to have to check this out.
A bit weird. Now, listen, mate, I want to tell you something about traffic and cars and all that.
Time?
Yeah, don't worry. We've got
another story now. No, we haven't got plenty of time.
We've got plenty of time.
No, we haven't.
We've got plenty of time.
So I've got to ask you about your penthouse as well, because I want an update.
You don't want to know about that.
I want to know.
The listeners do not want to know about that.
Yes, they do. They all want an update.
Yes, no, they don't. It's boring. They don't want to hear about my lifestyle anymore.
They do.
I want to tell them something which can help them avoid possible death.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you can't tell me now. We've only just started. We've got to hope to hear the sports headlines.
I think the schedules are getting really crazy.
Really crazy. They've always been the same, They've never changed.
I'm finding them
difficult.
We have
the news at the top of the hour.
Difficult to manage.
I know that. Yeah. We have news at the top of the hour and at the bottom of the hour. Do you get that?
Okay.
For heaven's sake, he's all upset now. He's Mike Parry, I'm Mike Graham, we are the two Mikes. We'll find out about the Penthouse later. We'll find about...
No, you won't. I've got nothing to tell you about the Penthouse. Nothing has changed.
Look at the time.
Right? Looks like a bomb hit it. What more do you want to know?
Yeah, well, we want to hear it update.
Looks like downtown Baghdad.
This is Talk Sport. You know what this music means, don't you?
This is Abbott Costello, isn't it?
It's Lauren Hardy.
Oh, Lauren Hardy, that's right. That's what I meant.
It's time for an update on your Penthouse of Horror, as I've now called it.
I don't know why.
Because it sounds like a Lauren Hardy movie, that's why.
No,
you got a washing machine stuck in... Last time we heard, let me just sum up for you.
Yes.
Washing machine in the middle of the kitchen floor, because you can't put the washing machine in until you take the old one out.
And that won't come out.
The wet room, which is a complete and utter disaster, which has got no shower in it. All the plumbing's been taken out, and you have to advise the people down below that you're going to be running water pipes throughout the ceiling, which may or may not cause a problem for them. Meanwhile, you've got the roof terrace, which is in a complete state of disarray.
They took the scaffolding down today.
Oh, they took the scaffolding down?
Yeah, the scaffolders came and removed all the scaffolding, and it's all going to go back up in a month's time when they resume work on it.
Who's paying for all this?
Well, it's an issue that's at dispute and in dispute. And,
but, I mean, were you originally paying for it?
No.
You weren't paying to do the roof terrace, then?
Well,
you must have been,
I pay massive service charges on the block, right? And that's supposed to cover maintenance and all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, but you're not just maintaining it, are you?
Well, no, but the people who run all this are wholly incompetent.
Right.
I mean, they were supposed to have replaced the roof terrace and then found out at the last minute that they hadn't been through all the proper legal procedures. Yeah. How incompetent is that?
Very
how do these guys have a job?
Yeah, I know.
How do
Shocking.
they work?
And
by this time, they've piled 200 new tiles from Italy, up onto the terrace. They've got all the asphalt.
So they've left those there, presumably?
No, it's all gone.
They've taken it all away?
It's all been taken away. It's all been taken away. And the scaffolding now is gone with the pulley there that pulled all the stuff up and all that, which I was going to use to put a new fence in, by the way, around the old roof terrace. So I need a new fence for the summer and all that kind of stuff. That's now gone. So it's a mess. But I don't want to talk about all that. Because
and the washing machine's still stuck.
The washing machine's in the middle of the kitchen. But look, I have other things I've got to deal with.
Because I keep forgetting, there's one particular person on Twitter who keeps asking me, he says, please ask about the exercise bike. Lots of people want to know about what's going on with that.
You don't want to know about it. It's not interesting.
Place yet?
It's not interesting.
Has that been put in yet?
No.
It hasn't?
No.
So where is that then?
It's
still in a warehouse somewhere.
Yes, it's in transit.
In transit?
In transit,
Seems to be taking a very long time.
It's the bike that's going nowhere, to be perfectly honest.
Certainly isn't going anywhere.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to tell you about is a very worrying event which our listeners need to know about, right?
Yes.
Now, on Sunday, I was repairing from my other home, which is down on the coast, okay?
Right.
I came out of the shower, went down the lift from the penthouse.
Yeah, because you've got to get in the shower. You've got to go all the way down there to get a shower. Although you've got the hand shower in the other bathroom, haven't you?
Yes, I have, yes, in my Surrey pad. Yes. By the way, I've been open to ask to open a pub locally.
That's unusual. Normally you're asked to shut one. isn't it? I mean, you're normally in there at closing time.
Normally thrown out of one, you mean? But I'll tell you about that later. Now, what I want to tell you about is this, and this worries me greatly. So I come out of the shower and go downstairs, had to make a quick exit, you know, because I had things to do, get on the road, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then I decided to catch up on something on my listening device.
Oh, your listening
otherwise
device?
Otherwise
known as your phone?
The phone.
Yeah. Have you got a new case for it?
Yeah, new case.
Very swish.
Well, nice, isn't it? Everton blue.
Is that Everton blue? It looks a bit light for Everton.
No, it is. It's you can't see it in this light, but it's absolutely royal blue. I made sure of that. Yeah.
It doesn't look royal blue to me. It looks more like sky blue.
No, it's not. It's royal blue. Honestly,
that's a very nice case, I must say.
It is a nice case. And do you know what?
Very nice.
Do you know what is interesting? Is that it's not that they got the phone and put it in a case. They've taken the back of the phone off.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So the case is part of the phone.
Well, they haven't taken the back of the phone off. They've just slid the case into the back of the phone.
No, they haven't. There is no back on this phone. That is the back of the phone.
Well, that is the back of the phone.
Yeah. But
what do you mean there's no back on it? Makes it sound like there's wires coming out of it.
No. When I was in the shop, the bloke said, "Here, we'll put this in here." So he took the back of the phone off.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So see your phone there?
Yes.
Right. If you took the back off, that then is exposed.
Yeah, I can see what
they've
done.
And that fits into the new
what they've done.
folder. What's this called? Folder?
It's a case.
A case into the new case. That's right. Yeah. So that's what it is. Anyway, so I get the old earphones, right? And this is the pointed issue. First of all,
you were listening to something on your phone while driving.
I was listening to our last show.
Oh, were you?
To make sure that your contribution was up to standard.
Oh, was it?
Okay. Yeah.
What did you think? Was it suitably edited? You don't have any words for whoever edited it?
No, I think it was okay. It was acceptable.
Yeah.
Put it
Actually, we've had a couple of requests to hear that Pyongyang style as well. You might want to play that again.
Now, what happens is, I put it in this pocket, not this pocket I'm with the shirt on, but I mean a pocket in the same place.
A similar pocket in a similar shirt.
Yeah, and then
all your shirts are similar.
They are similar, yeah. And then I plug the old earphones in.
You shouldn't be driving with headphones in, should you?
Well, yes, there's no law against it.
Well, it's not very safe though. You can't hear anything.
Well,
if there's a police car behind you and you can't hear the siren, you can't get out of the way.
Well, I'd see it flashing lights, wouldn't I? In my mirror and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's the same reason you say cyclists shouldn't be cycling around with headphones in their head. It's very dangerous.
I honestly have great awareness. Anyway, so I start going, right? Start going, and I'm on the road up to the motorway and all that. And I suddenly realise the phone's getting very hot in my pocket.
Yeah.
So it's burning my breast.
Yeah. They do get very hot.
I've got burning breast syndrome.
Have you got the? Did you have the new case at this point?
Yes, new case. Yeah,
right.
I got the new case on Saturday, and this was Sunday. Okay,
right.
So then what happened is quite remarkable, and this is what I want to warn our listeners about.
Yeah,
I pushed the earphones in because I wasn't sure I was getting the right level of audio.
Yeah.
But then I found out something else, which I'll tell you about in a minute.
Well, the volume control.
Yes, I didn't know about it. Did you?
What, you mean you didn't know there was a volume control?
No, it has an automatic volume control, and it won't go louder than halfway up.
That's an EU regulation.
Won't go halfway up in case it deafens you.
Yeah, it's an EU regulation.
And then you have to get it out, and you have to press, yes, I accept full responsibility for going deaf.
Yeah.
And then only then can you put up the volume control.
That's right.
But that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about here is I pushed them in, and as I pushed them in, I suddenly,
got an electric shock?
No, I wouldn't say electric shock, a sensation.
Right.
I got sensation. But guess what?
Was it static?
Well, I think I've discovered something which could be lethal to people.
Right.
Having just
Maybe it's just your head's a conductor for electricity.
No, don't be silly. Having just come out of the shower, my ears were full of water, obviously.
Why didn't you dry them?
Well, I do dry them, but you can't get all the water out of your ears all the time unless you
can.
shake your head for half an hour, which I do sometimes, but I didn't want to.
He's now shaking his head.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So as I pushed the plugs in, they touched water. Water then reacts almost like steam coming out my ears.
So it was like an electric shock.
It was like a bit like an electric shock, and boom, suddenly I'm shocked.
It doesn't sound at all safe if you're supposed to be in control of the car.
And there was a blip in the sound coming from the phone.
Really?
So it clearly disturbed something or hit something, you know what I mean?
Well, do you remember there was a story about some guy in China whose iPhone exploded?
Blew
Because
up.
he charged it the wrong way or something, or he used one of those illegal charging mechanisms.
Oh, well, you see, if you use one of those, you're getting in trouble. But I just thought I'd let our listeners know, be very careful about sticking earplugs into your ears if your ears are full of water.
Yeah.
Because it seems to me water and electricity don't mix.
No, I don't think they do.
And there's clearly electricity coming into your ears through the lead from your phone.
I think most people know that, don't they?
No, I don't think they do. I don't think they realise how susceptible they are to it. See, what I think happens is, when you're driving a car, if you go right, you turn your head to the right. And that swishes water round from the coccyl, which is the middle bone in your ear.
Well, you're also looking left if you're turning right as well, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. It switches it one way or the other, and I think it's dangerous, and I think it's something we should all be
Well, I'll tell you
aware
what's
of.
dangerous is driving with headphones in, so I really don't think you should do that.
I'm not sure that is dangerous.
Of course it's dangerous.
Well, it doesn't occur to me as being dangerous.
It means you can't hear somebody shouting. It means you can't hear another car behind you. You can't hear a police siren or an ambulance or anything.
If you've got your radio on, pal, if you've got your radio on, you can't hear anything anyway. The other thing...
Yeah, but it's not the same as actually having earphones in, which are basically designed to keep out outside sounds, which the radio is not supposed to do.
Now, listen, the other thing is this. Do you chew chewing gum when you're driving?
I do sometimes, yeah.
I do always. It's great for concentration. But guess what? There is another added benefit, which I've just found out from a research paper issued in Japan last week. And what do you offer?
What do you mean a research paper issued in Japan?
What's a research paper?
Have they sent a copy of it to you, have they?
No.
Well, how did you manage to get your hands on this secret research document?
In my daily research of new information that's
Does this come through on your information device?
Yeah, well, yeah, sort of. Laptop, actually. I've discovered that chewing gum does an incredibly good job on your brain.
Does it?
Literally it does.
It's not working for you, is it?
Eh?
It's not working for you.
Do you know what happens? I'm going to ignore that.
Well, you just did.
I like chewing gum all the time.
You do?
But I think it gives you stomachache as well, chewing gum.
Well, it's not good to chew it all the time.
Well, I think my mum used to say to me that it allows air into your tummy.
I think that's just one of those things parents tell you.
I think it is. Anyway, look, I'll tell you what it is. It's related to activity in the hippocampus, which is an area of the brain which is very important to your memory.
Is it? Your memory's awful.
The ability to remember.
Your memory's absolutely hopeless.
Right, here, listen to this. Recent evidence suggests that chomping down on chewing gum increases the heart rate, which improves the delivery of oxygen to the brain and helps its powers to remember things at that very moment. So the way you remember things now, Mike, and I might try this in a run-up to our show tomorrow night, is for an hour before the show, I'm going to chew chewing gum. Yeah. You know, really chew it like that, maybe 6 or 7 or 8 pieces, 9, 10 pieces, something like that, because I don't like it when the flavour goes. I like to re-flavour it all the time.
So you think that might help you with your memory?
Well, what I'm saying is, and I'm going to read a few fact sheets, you know, which I draw up during the day.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good idea, and I can then quiz you on the fact sheets.
Well, maybe, whatever, and see whether I've remembered things, because that and oily fish, by the way, I keep telling you about oily fish.
It doesn't go well with chewing gum, though, does it?
Well, it doesn't, but I mean, what I'm saying is that...
Not at the same time.
I'm looking at ways all the time to try...
Your memory isn't very good.
No, my memory's fine.
No, you've got a very good memory, as I've told you many times, of things that happened quite a long time ago. Yeah. But not such a good memory of things that happened like yesterday.
Well, you're suggesting that that's demential.
I'm saying that it can often be an early sign.
That's what I mean. But I don't have any problem like that at all. I mean, for instance, you know, I could probably remember the name of the number plate of the car behind mine when I parked tonight outside Talksport Towers here. Well, it's yours.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what it is then?
Well, I know it's got...
Tell me what it starts with.
I know it's got a 54 in the middle.
No, it hasn't.
58?
No.
It's got a 58 in the middle, hasn't it?
No, it hasn't.
No, I think it has.
No.
And it's GS.
No, it's not.
It is, the letters are GS.
No, it's not.
Must be somebody else's
I mean,
car,
the reason I was happy for you to give away my number plate was I knew you wouldn't remember it.
Right, okay.
So you haven't got any of it right.
Okay.
In fact.
I thought I had. And
No.
And at the end, I think there's a TL.
No, there isn't.
Right, okay.
No, none of those letters appear.
I don't believe you.
No.
I think you're just lying.
I'm not going to give out my whole number plate.
Well, no, I know you're not, but I mean, that means that you can just say, no, try and make out that I'm some
Well, I'll tell you what it
of
is when we stop. But I don't particularly want to give. I don't suppose what you want to give you. Would you mind? I don't want you to give out my registration number on air.
Well, I wasn't going to.
I've got a story to tell you about my car, actually.
Oh, really? I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, it's all going to come up. It's coming up next on Talk Sport with the two mics.
Good.
This is Talk Sport Extra Time. I'm Mike Graham. He's Mike Parry. Do you know who that is?
That's Oasis.
No, it isn't. No.
That sounded like Liam Gallagher to
me.
Did it?
It's Snow Patrol.
Snow Patrol. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Where are they from?
They're from Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland. Yeah. How long have they been around?
Quite a long time.
That sounds like a nice song. That.
Light
What's that
Up.
Called?
It's called.
Light Up.
Yeah.
Lighten Up.
No, just Light Up.
What, like light up a cigarette?
Well, it's not light up a cigarette, but yeah, you get the idea.
Well, that's not. I don't think that's very, proper, really. So talking about cigarettes, by the way.
We've got a guest coming up now.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But I'll just tell you quickly.
Go on.
These plain packaged cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
They've introduced them into Australia.
Yeah, they've had them for 2 years, haven't
and
they?
now hundreds of people are dying because it's so much easier to make, gash false cigarettes.
Oh, yeah, like
and put them
bootleg
into,
ones, yeah.
Bootleg ones. Put them into plain packets because you don't even have to design and replicate a
brand
copy
name.
of the brand name.
Yeah.
That's right. Everything's the
I know.
same, brown paper.
Bad idea.
And they're sticking cigarettes into these brown paper packages, literally made of arsenic, made of, the sort
Cyanide.
of... stuff that you find in the ground, stuff that you find in pigsties, stuff that you can find... No, it's true. It's true. They're stuffing them all into cigarettes.
Really?
Like,
Shocking.
stuff like manure and straw and all sorts of things. Honestly, it's disgusting.
I know.
And people are dying of poison.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking state of affairs. Now, we've been talking about the terrible weather over in the United States. I don't think the bad snow's actually hit yet. We're going to talk to Mark Donaldson, one of our regular contributors. He's stuck out in Los Angeles.
That,
he's been out there covering the tennis down in Australia, and he can't get back to Connecticut where he lives because all the planes have been closed down. Mark, a very good morning to you. Welcome.
Mr. Graham, Mr. Parry, how are you both?
Yeah, very well
good,
indeed.
Mark.
Now, we've had a strange, we've had a tweet from somebody who's watching the live NBC webcam, which I haven't got myself yet, which I haven't seen, which says that the snow hasn't actually started yet in New York. Is that right?
It has, and it's making its way up to Connecticut, and Boston will be in the early hours. So it's kind of light, but the heavy stuff's just kind of starting in New York and in Connecticut as well, and then Boston will probably get it towards kind of sunlight tomorrow. I'm assured of that by my wife, who's stuck in the house. She can't get out, and I can't get back. I'm stuck in Los Angeles because all the flights to, I think there's 20 airports in the northeast of the country have all shut down until Wednesday. So I was on a flight today, cancelled. I was also on a flight that they changed me to on Tuesday, which has been cancelled. And now I'm tentatively booked on a flight on Wednesday, which, if it's cancelled, I'm going to have another day in Los Angeles by the pool in 75 degrees.
What a nightmare. We just had a guy from Malibu on saying it was raining.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I was in Malibu a couple of days ago. I'm just up the road just now at the Staples Center, about to go to the LA Clippers against Denver Nuggets NBA game, and it's miserable.
Yeah.
But it's warm and miserable. I'm not used to that in Scotland.
No, trouble is, Mark, getting stuck in Los Angeles is a bit of a nightmare because, in my view, everybody in California is mad. And
which is pretty good coming from you.
No, they are. They're all nutters, aren't they? They go around towing bits of rock behind them on leads because they think that they give them more spiritual satisfaction than a dog. And
well, they did that for a while, a long time ago.
Yeah, but they do. They're all crazy. But anyway, and don't go
Sorry,
to...
Mike, Venice Beach,
yes,
for me, is the wackiest place on earth. It's like you take all the crazies, you put them in a food mix, you shake them about, and you drop them down. And I love it. I absolutely love it because there's a place in society for everybody, and everyone seems to be offended. They're just crazy.
I totally agree. Venice Beach is like it's like an open asylum, isn't it? Where people are running around. And just up the road from there, Mark, Santa Monica, and I've told this story many times to our listeners, go into a restaurant there, ask for a second bottle of wine, just as you're about to order your meal, because you and your mate have finished the first bottle of wine off while you were looking at the menus, and instead of giving you a bottle of wine, they give you a card advising you of alcohol abuse and how it can damage your liver and don't drink too much. I mean, that's a good way to run a business,
well, that's because you'd only finished the first bottle in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, probably had. That's the way the English do it. But anyway, as you say, they're all crackpots. You'd be glad to get back to the frozen eastern seaboard sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Not really, I have to say. But what I will say, and I've been coming here 4 years to do the tennis from LA, just simply because of the time difference. That's why we do it from out here at ESPN. I found something out this year for the first time, because we went for a walk to Santa Monica today, and we went along the pier, and that is the final destination of Route 66, the beginning of the pier at Santa Monica was the final place. You start in Chicago, and the old Route 66 ended at the beginning of the pier at Santa Monica Boulevard.
That's marvellous.
That is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, as far as your Connecticut home is concerned, are you going to be able to get to it? I mean, if this blizzard is as bad as they say, even if you can get into, I don't know whether you're going to be flying into New York City or whether you're going to fly up into one of the Boston airports. I mean, are you going to be able to actually get home?
Well, that's the issue. I'm flying into Newark, or meant to be. It's normally about an hour and 50-minute drive door to door to get to my house in northwest Connecticut. That ain't going to be the case. I'm probably going to spend around 45 minutes trying to get the snow shoveled away from the car at Newark Airport. One of my colleagues who presents ESPN FC, Dan Thomas, who's been home seeing his son in England at the weekend, he's literally just texted me before I got on air. His flight to JFK was cancelled. He had to go to Philly, then get a flight to Boston. His car's in New York. He had to get a hire car in Boston. And he said it's the scariest drive of his life, down from Boston to his home in West Hartford. So one thing I would say, the difference between the US and the UK, we know this was going to be the case. I got an email on Sunday from United saying my Tuesday flight as well as the Monday flight had been cancelled. You'd have everybody off school. The roads were shut tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time. No cars were allowed, and if you did, then you would get arrested because there are police out there making sure of that. And that's because they can have a clear-up operation to start on Wednesday morning. If you got a bit of snow in London, remember it was during the darts a few years ago at Alexandra Palace. It was chaos with a bit of snow.
Oh, it was an absolute nightmare. Well, listen, hopefully you'll manage to find a few decent things to do in LA. I'm sure you'll be able to keep yourself entertained, Mark. But thanks very much indeed for joining us. We'll be talking to Mark later on in the week as well about a whole bunch of stuff. But it's true what he says. You know, whenever we have these... I remember when I was flying to... The last time we had proper snow here, which was a couple of Christmases ago, and they had that nightmare at Heathrow. We didn't find out until the day before, the afternoon before we were flying the next day, when Virgin rang us to say, oh, by the way, your flight's definitely going. Yeah. Because, you know, we just didn't know, and you can't plan anything.
And did it go?
It did go, yeah. And it was fine. But, you know, we'd only had 3 inches of snow. I've just had a text from my sister who's in Connecticut at the moment. She says, yeah, it's not too bad. We've only had 6 inches so far.
Right.
So they've had 6 inches of snow already.
Yeah. Didn't they say it was going to be the worst storm ever?
Yeah.
And did you know...
3 inches per hour and winds of up to 50 miles an hour.
And did you know it's heading in this direction?
Yeah, but we won't get snow, will we?
Well, we will.
The Express says we will. But
no.
You were telling me just the other week we were going to get snow and we didn't get it.
No. I've been researching this today.
Good.
I have to keep our listeners informed what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening is that we are going to get what's called the polar vortex
Yes,
effect.
that's what they had last year.
Was that the polar vortex? You know all about this, do you?
I do, of course.
How do you know about it?
Because the polar vortex first
don't know
came
much
into...
about anything.
Yeah, I do. No, well, you'd be surprised. The polar vortex first came into the lexicon last winter because that was... Remember the horrible winter they had over in the States where it was literally frozen for the best part of about 3 months?
Yeah.
And where, in fact, in Connecticut, where my sister lived, they had snow on the ground all the way through until the end of March, I think. Never got rid of it.
Well, our friend Phil Finn eventually sold his house in upstate New York because he was a golfer.
Yeah.
He'd taken up golf and he'd moved up there and bought the house in the spring and summer. But, I mean, for 5 months a year, he had golf.
Couldn't play it.
He couldn't play golf because there was snow on the courses. Now, here are the polar vortex. It's a displaced polar vortex, OK? Here, what's happening is thunderstorm weather bombs are hitting the eastern seaboard in America, right?
Yeah.
And the next predicted blast will unleash blizzards, a deep freeze, and it'll be...
that's what's happening. That's what's happening tonight.
Yeah. We're looking at a very severe cold snap, certainly bringing the coldest temperatures so far this winter, driven by a displaced polar vortex, which means the swathe of freezing air over the North Pole is pulled down over the UK thanks to the southerly positioned jet stream. This could trigger anything, gales, significant snowstorms and very damaging weather. And it's 95% certain the whole of the UK will be affected. Now, how about that?
Yeah, well,
that's a weather report.
It will be affected, but I don't think we will get anything like the kind of snow that they're going to get. Well, and we certainly won't get it down here.
No, I'm sure about that.
Now, I've got a Beatles story to tell you from the weekend.
Tell me
because I think it was on Friday night. As quite often I do, I was watching BBC 4. Which has some very good musical documentaries on it from time to time.
Yeah.
And they had this great documentary, I don't know whether you saw it or have seen it, about the making of Please Please Me.
Right.
But not just about the making of it, but some re-recording of the songs that was being done by loads of other stars. And they had people like Josh Stone, they had Squeeze in there, Greg
but I
Tilbrook and all
can't
those
stand
guys.
cover versions of Beatles songs.
Well, the only one that I actually liked was Josh Stone, but they also played, of course, all the original Beatles tracks as well.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I became so excited because I've never actually owned that particular album.
Right.
I bought Please Please Me. I thought you'd be pleased to hear that.
What, you downloaded it?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I bought the whole album.
You see, I'm not a great fan of the early Beatles stuff.
It's their first album.
Me, well, yeah.
It wasn't so much because of that. It wasn't so much because of that song. Yeah, I know that. I don't want to hear you sing it either.
The second one was called With the Beatles, and even on their second album, With the Beatles, they still did some cover versions.
Yeah, they
Chuck
did.
Berry songs and all
well,
that
I
kind
quite
of stuff.
like that.
Well, I don't. To me, the Beatles is a purism of form. It's songs written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, by George Harrison.
Well, I've always liked...
latterly
I saw her standing there.
By Ringo Starr.
Right.
And I saw
14 songs.
There.
14 songs. Misery. Anna, which was a cover version, I think. Chains, I think, was a cover version. And, of course, A Taste of Honey, which was a cover version as well.
I don't like all that.
I just really like the sound of it.
Do you remember the film A Taste of Honey?
Yeah.
That was Rita Tushingham.
Yes, that's right.
And Dora Bryan.
Yeah.
And it was one of these great post-Second World War films of a bleak and, black Britain where Dora Bryan,
that's what they used to call kitchen sink dramas.
It was kitchen sink drama where they had to climb out the window of the rented apartment because she couldn't pay the rent and all that kind of stuff. I remember that very, very well indeed. But I don't like Beatles cover versions, honestly. And conversely, I don't like it the other way around. Nobody's ever done a good cover version of a Beatles song.
Well, Josh Stone's A Taste of Honey is not technically a cover version of their song, but it's very good.
Yeah, well...
So I would recommend it.
Oh, it's debatable.
Now, let me read you a couple of tweets here. William says, if you didn't tell Porky to look into the light, there would be no news or sports bulletins for 2 hours.
Oh, I'm not sure about
that.
And
then Adrian says, hang on, I thought Porky set up the timing schedules at TalkSport when he invented the station. Well... And he puts invented in inverted commas.
What, he's sort of doubting... He's saying that this is an empty boast, is it?
No, I think what he's saying is that I thought the timings of the news and everything were your responsibility when you set everything up.
Well, I'm not going to get into that. That's history, and this is an historic.
A lot of people saying that my musical knowledge is shocking. He said the Snow Patrol song is called "Run," not "Light Up."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you got it completely wrong.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Misinforming the audience again.
I did.
Oh, right here. I've got one from here. That Snow Patrol song's called Run.
Snow Patrol.
Snow Patrol, sorry. That Snow Patrol song is called Run. I thought Mr. Parry was a musical genius. He should know Snow Patrol.
Well, how about this from Phil? He says, why don't you connect your phone to your car stereo by Bluetooth? Get with the technology. This I would like to see. Do you even know where your Bluetooth is on the phone?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what happened.
Do you ever use Bluetooth?
No, I'll tell you what's happened. I'll tell you what's happened, right.
Well, you haven't got a lot of time to tell me what's happened.
No. I had it all set up. Yeah. Absolutely no problem at all.
Bluetooth?
In the Bluetooth, in the Merc, OK. And so, for instance, Andy Townsend...
Well, it's all wireless.
...rings me on a Sunday morning, as he often does when he's on his way to...
You sure it's not you ringing him?
...on games. No. We talk on a regular basis.
I see.
And it's you just talking to, the ether, and it's great. Now, what you do? The voice just comes from nowhere, doesn't it?
No, it comes from a speaker.
Yeah, I know that, but it's a hidden speaker, isn't it? So, it's magic.
Well, it's very small.
Yeah, but it's magic.
It's not magic.
Anyway, how about this? So the car goes in for a service. Yeah. Now, that's supposed to improve your car, isn't it? It would improve your car. Comes out, first time the phone rings, it's ringing in my pocket. And I think, hang on.
Well, probably because you hadn't connected it to the Bluetooth.
Well, you don't have to.
Yes, you do.
No. Every time you get in the car, it connects. It automatically connects.
Only if your Bluetooth is switched on and you paired it up with the device.
That's right, which I'd done.
Had you?
Well, I hadn't done it, but somebody had done it for me.
Well, maybe it was maybe it disconnected.
It did disconnect. This is one point. But when you take a car in, you're supposed to improve it, not disimprove it. Now, the other thing is, I could have smashed my car up 4 times since then, because backing up, the old sensors, the bleep, 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 bleep sensors, are not working as efficient as they were before the car went in. Well, they don't seem to be. And you
tell me that I'm driving around in a wreck.
And I nearly smashed into your car, actually.
Did you?
Parking tonight.
Oh, don't worry, it would just be another bash.
Because I'd forgotten that the sensors were not very, very sensitive.
That's the problem I've got, actually, when I drive this car, because the Land Rover's got sensors all over the place. Side sensors, front sensors, back sensors. And when you're driving a car that doesn't have any, you forget.
Do you know, the side sensors are a nuisance, because every time a motorbike passes you, when you're stuck in traffic, it all goes off,
That's not a problem.
Well, it is to me. It is to me. It's disturbing.
Yeah,
disturbing.
It is disturbing.
Yeah.
Somebody's put the tennis on the big screen now, so you can enjoy watching that
Who's
for 5
playing?
minutes. A couple of your favourites. Sharapova and Eugenie Bouchard.
Excellente.
Yeah, you can enjoy that while
the
news...
Sharapova for victory, I say.
Yeah, never mind. Keep your hair on,
Statuesque woman. You know, she's 6'1" in her bare feet.
No, never mind that. Look
when
at
she
the time.
puts a pair of high heels on, she could be 6'5".
Yeah.
Imagine that.
She'd tower over you, wouldn't she?
Yeah, she would.
This is TalkSport Extra Time. We are the Two Mics. There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on, of course. We're now seeing some video, some camera shots of Times Square, which has got a little bit of snow coming down, but nothing too heavy at the moment. That will keep you informed about all of that. Mr. Parry's brought in a little box with what looks like a very nice presentation from Everton in there. What is that?
Well, it's not from Everton. This is absolutely amazing. This was in. I've just found this in my pigeonhole, right?
Have you?
And I am absolutely banjaxed, right? I didn't know what it was. I opened it up, and then on the outside of the box it says "sending a big hug," right?
Right.
And it's very decorative,
Right.
and it's got Everton badges on it, right? So then
Somebody's taken the time to put this together for you.
It's an amazing card, and I look inside and see this is the front of the card.
Yeah.
You know, with the Everton crest on it, and it's all themed Everton. I open it, and on the inside left-hand page, Mike's a picture of you and I.
Oh, my goodness.
See?
Well, I didn't send it to you.
No, exactly, you didn't. And
Where'd
then
I get that from?
on the right, well, I'm just about to say to you, there's a dedication, and it reads like this: "Dear Mike Porky, having just heard the great news that you'll be making more appearances on the show, I thought I'd make you a card in celebration. I'm a huge fan of the show, and I think you and Mike Graham are great together. That's very, very kind of you. I've made badge cards for several TalkSport presenters, so other colleagues of ours have had a lovely present like this in the past, and hope you like yours. Keep up the great work. Lots of love. Joan Moores from Prescott, Merseyside."
That's nice,
Well,
isn't
Joan,
it?
thank you very much indeed. That's incredibly kind of you. Joan's put an email address in, so I'll be knocking her off a little line of thanks, because it really, truly is a beautiful present. I'll take a picture of that and tweet that out.
Do you think she sent one to me as well?
At the end of the show. Well, I think she sent this to both of us, to be honest, because there's a picture of the two of us there, back to back, one of our standard
You're
poses.
going to keep it, though, aren't you?
Well, of course I'm going to keep it. It's addressed to me and sent to me. I'm an Everton fan, you're not. You're a Brentford fan, of course.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that is...
you must be very devastated
That's-
now, even more so, that Everton are no longer in the FA Cup now that everybody else has been knocked out.
Well,
when I say everybody else, not
yeah.
everybody else.
No,
but,
I totally agree.
An awful lot of big-name clubs have
I
been knocked
totally
out.
agree. You know, Arsenal are now favourites, aren't they, to win the FA Cup? And who's second favourite?
Man
Liverpool.
United. Apparently Man United are.
Man United second, Liverpool third, probably. But they've both got to get through replays in a season which is which has produced so many shocks. You've got to say there's no guarantee getting through the replays.
Yeah.
But it's a mixed feeling, Mike. On the one hand, you're saying, oh, well, that's a bit of comfort because Everton are not the only sort of, quotes, big club that have gone out. Other big clubs have gone out, including the top three in the Premier League. So nothing to be ashamed of. But on the other hand, of course, you quite rightly say, what an opportunity it would have been to progress in the FA Cup this season.
Shocking.
It means in any draw after we've got through against West Ham in that, that penalty shootout thriller.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have come up against Manchester City or Chelsea, easily the two best teams in the Premier League.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have come up against Southampton, who can beat anybody this season, as they've proven, and wouldn't be coming up against Spurs, who are one of our bogey teams.
Yeah.
I mean, what an opportunity that would have been. Really.
What an opportunity missed. Now, let me read you a couple of texts that have come in.
Right.
One from John Laguna. He says, I'm an HGV driver and I had a fine back in 2010 for driving with headphones in my ears. I was told he was driving without due care and attention. Be careful, Porky. And Steve the trucker says, Mike Parry, just for your info, it is an offence to wear headphones whilst driving. I got stopped on the M25 last year and fined £100 and 3 points. But I did a course and the policeman stated that headphone wires could get caught in the controls.
I suppose that is one consideration. I didn't honestly know that it was an offence, so I won't be doing it again because I do not like to...
It does sound dangerous.
I don't like to break the law and all that kind of stuff. The worst thing was the water in my ears and the burning sensation on my breast.
Yeah.
And
the phone does get very hot if you listen to it for a long period of time.
It certainly does. And also...
Well, what I suggest you do
down
is if you want, I'll see if I can pair up your phone with your Bluetooth.
Yeah, good idea.
Because then you'll be able to do it in relative ease. Yeah. You won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, good thinking, man.
That's a very good idea.
Good
now,
thinking.
The thing that I wanted to ask you about as well this weekend was about my car, because I took your advice and I took it into to a place to have a look at it.
Excellent.
And they've now decided they have to go in because they think it's quite an unusual colour, something called smoky silver or something like that.
You're talking about getting the damage repaired.
Yeah, the damage repaired
done to you by a lorry.
But done to me by a lorry. Well, I still haven't found out who caused
Absolute
it.
disgrace.
But I've said to them, look, the fact is, the car, I took it to my local garage, who are very good, and I said, look, what I don't want to do is spend an awful lot of money repairing it. So they said, well, because of where it is, it's not terrible, and because it's galvanised, because it's so well made, it won't actually rust. So you could not do it at all if you don't want to.
Yeah, but it's
unsightly.
Well,
it is unsightly.
Yeah.
So they're now going to try and match the paint as close as they can.
Have you had a quote for it?
No, not yet. No, I'm waiting for it. They said
it's going to be a few hundred quid, isn't it?
Well, I've said to them, if it's going to be more than £100, I'm not interested.
Why?
Because I only paid £2,000 for the car. I don't want to spend like hundreds of pounds repairing a bump on the bonnet.
But, Mike, in my view, the state of your car is the state of the person driving it.
You've said that to me, but I mean,
you don't want to be driving around looking like a scruffy old dropout.
But it doesn't matter.
Like a hippie with a beaten up old car.
It's not a status symbol for me. It's merely a means of getting around.
Yeah, and listen, in getting around, you take your kids to sporting events.
I have done.
Right, have you seen this latest dictum that's come from one particular local authority who have told parents on the touchline, I think this is rugby matches, actually, and I'm trying to remember where it was now, that they have to, it's in Yorkshire, they have to keep absolutely silent.
This is because of the noise and the abuse that referees have been getting and all that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
pushy parents, they call them, don't they?
Yeah, they do, yeah. And of course, we've all seen it, dad's on the touchline, come on, son, get stuck in. But it's when it gets aggressive and they start telling their kids that they're no good and all that. It's a friend of mine who's a professional footballer, and he was very, very good schoolboy footballer. He was, he was about like 14 or 15. Right. He was twice as good as everybody else. And they're playing in some youth match, and this guy was roasting this fullback. I mean, roasting him. It was so easy because the guy went on to be an England international, so you can see how good he was. At that age, and my mate was so embarrassed at the way this poor kid was being bullied by his father.
Well, the guy who kept beating.
The guy he kept beating, and he could beat him so easily. He was chipping it over him, he was nutmegging him, he was running rings around him, literally. He went over to his own manager and said, I'm swapping sides. He said, I can't take this anymore. Yeah. He said, that poor kid is getting bullied by his dad and he's in tears. No. He said, I'm put the other lad on that wing.
Absolutely appalling.
I'm moving over the other side.
No, I mean, I've seen that. It's not so much.
And this father was screaming in his son's face, grabbing his shirt, pulling him to the touchline, do you know what you're like? You're getting mullered by this kid, and all that sort of stuff.
It's awful. Yeah. Well, what they've said up in Yorkshire, the Rugby Football Union is now backed it. They're going to have what they call silent Sundays, which means that shouting, cheering and clapping by parents is actually going to be banned at youth matches for the next 2 Sundays.
But that will completely lack atmosphere then.
Well, it will.
You can't have that.
Yeah, but
you've got to have a bit of parental involvement.
But I'm not sure you do, because there's no reason why kids can't play football or rugby or cricket or whatever it is they play at school without any kind of crowd noise at all. They don't need to have that. I mean,
listen,
no, I don't agree. I've been to loads of these games, right? Because when my younger kids used to play, and now the kids that I've got now, my older kids used to play, I should say. In fact, some of the abuse that happened on the sidelines when I was watching my oldest son play down in Wiltshire was from my wife, who used to stand on the touchlines abusing me. Which was, quite unnerving.
Well, during the game?
Yeah.
What was she shouting?
Yeah, well, she was just shouting abuse at me. This was after we'd sort of split up, and I would go down to watch him play.
And then she'd come down, but she wouldn't take notes of the game. She just came down to shout abuse at you.
She just come stand abuse at me.
What would she shout?
Well, I can't really repeat it.
Would she shout things out so that other parents would get the impression that you were an absolute...
I used to have to walk. My son used to play in goal quite a lot, so I used to actually have to walk all the way down the touchline and then go and stand behind the goal and be just next to him in order to avoid the abuse.
Good God, and she just came just to give you a hard public time in front of other parents.
In front of all the other parents at the school,
to me, she might have been, on the edge there.
Yeah, well, she was. That was one of the days she scraped a key down the side of my car when I went back to the car.
When I played for the King's School Chester, where I was outstanding, by the way, I played every game.
What position did you play?
I was the midfield general.
Midfield general?
Yeah. What are you laughing at?
Of course you were. Did you play with like what happened inside your waistcoat, like Napoleon?
No, but I completely organised the game.
Amazing in a way that you didn't make more of a career out of that.
Well, I played for English grammar school.
So you say. I've never seen any evidence of this. Have you got any evidence of it?
I don't need to produce it, mate.
Have you got any sort of records of any kind?
People know. People
don't know.
But anyway, the point of my story is...
What is the point of the story?
I went out... Most of the people at the King's School Chester went out with girls from the Queen's School Chester, because it was a sort of, a social clique and all that kind of stuff. However...
Were they adjoining schools?
No, they were on the other side of town, but I mean, there was a lot of links between the two schools.
Yeah, I'm sure,
obviously,
School discos and that kind of thing.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. However, I went out with a girl who was a secretary.
A secretary?
A secretary in a solicitor's office.
How old were you at this point?
17. Right. And she'd left school at 16, and done some typing exams and all that kind of stuff. No, she was secretary, right?
And there must have been some ulterior motive, because there's always an ulterior motive with you.
No, not really.
You must have wanted her to do something.
No, she was just very good looking.
Yeah.
In fact, she went on to become Miss Chester, believe it or not.
Did she?
Yeah. Can you believe that? The old Portmeister.
I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, no, she was. So anyway, So she had a load of friends who were secretaries, obviously, because they all worked in the same road. It's called Nicholas Street, where all the solicitors' offices were, and insurance offices, and,
So why wouldn't you have a girlfriend from the opposite school like everybody else?
Well, I don't know, just didn't meet one, I suppose, or I didn't find them that exciting, to be honest. This girl was very sexy and very good-looking. So she used to come and watch me play. But she used to bring all these other secretaries with her.
Right.
So I had my own...
So like your own cheerleaders?
I did. I had my own fan club of groupies, I suppose. They were like... You
really do live in a fantasy world, don't you?
They were.
Rubbish. Absolute
and they all used
cobblers.
to, honestly, they all used to stand...
I've never heard anything so ridiculous in my life.
They all used to stand in a little sort of clique on the halfway line, right? And they all used to shout in, like, high-pitched girls' voices, come on, Mike, get here, Mike, oh, and then if somebody tackled me, ooh, leave him alone, and all this kind no, honestly, all this sort of stuff,
Ridiculous.
It was great. I had my own cheerleaders. Now, this was great because if any of the other girls were there from the Queen's School, they were very demure, very reserved.
Yes.
And so if it hadn't been for my crowd of groupies, the old porky groupies, there wouldn't have been any atmosphere at the game.
Right.
Wouldn't be atmosphere. And these girls brought all the atmosphere. And then, of course, what happened was, at the end of the game, when we all piled off to the pub, and you'd only just passed our driving test, so you had people driving down in their father's Jaguars and all this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? All the rest of my teammates tried to get away from their own girlfriends, who were rather staid and prim and well-behaved, and wanted to head off in the same car as me, my groupies, the secretaries, off to the pub.
You're painting this rather unlikely picture of you as this kind of Charlie's Angel figure.
Absolutely. And we used to go down to a place called...
You've seen the time, by the way.
We used to go down...
The time?
Never mind. We used
no,
to go
what do you mean,
to
never
a place
mind?
Called the Boathouse, right, on the edge of the River Dee and all that. And it's beautiful. And the other guys in the team would always try and avoid their girlfriends and chase all mine.
Unbelievable story. Absolutely unbelievable. Look at the time, though. It is really late now. More coming up from the two Mikes. I'm Mike Graham. He's Mike Parry.
Forever and ever and ever and ever you'll be the one who comes to me in the morning sun.
That is absolutely awful. I was rather hoping they wouldn't play that out.
That is not awful. And remember, this is not something in which we're taking the mickey out of.
For heaven's sake!
It's not something in which we're taking the mickey out of anybody. This is a tribute.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And there is a video. You can go to Two Mikes TV actually on YouTube and see it. We've tweeted out the link at the Two Mikes and at IROMG and at Mike Parry.
Is that right?
I think it was a very good effort, but I think you have to say, listening to it now through the clarity of the headphones, actually, it does sound worse than I remember it.
No, it doesn't sound worse at all. As usual, I mean, you wouldn't have a go at doing it, would you?
I wouldn't try and impersonate Demis Roussos, so I'm not the same shape.
You know you can't.
You have the.
You haven't got the talent.
No, you have the advantage of looking very like Demis Roussos.
You haven't got the talent, man. To get onto the Two Mikes YouTube TV is easy. What are you laughing
Somebody's just sent a picture of Porky's cheerleaders.
Oh, yeah?
Suggesting perhaps that they should be known as the Porkies. Sean says, Porky sounds like Snoop Dogg with his football secretary groupies.
Is that right? Yeah, well, I mean, they were there.
What about this picture here?
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Well, they're rather attractive, aren't they, young lady?
I wouldn't say so. I'll retweet that as well.
Dear me. Now, look, all I'm saying is that we did it as a tribute. To get on to the Two Mikes YouTube TV, you literally just pump in, don't you? Two Mikes TV YouTube.
Two Mikes, yeah. Well, you go onto YouTube and just put in Two Mikes TV.
No, you don't even go onto YouTube. You're on Google.
You can Google it if you wish.
You go onto Google, Two Mikes
Are
TV.
you attempting to give out technological advice to people?
Yes, I think I should. Yeah, help them to access these little nuggets and gems and that kind of stuff. Listen, talking about school, I wanted to move on to something else.
Yes, all right.
Now, you see. You think I have a go at you all the time about your lifestyle and all that.
Well, you do have a go at me all the time.
Guess what I found out? Guess what I found out over the weekend?
I don't know.
Because I mix in pretty high circles. I found out that you can send your child...
Was this in between electrocuting yourself in the car?
Something like that, and trying to make my place not look like downtown Baghdad. If you want to send your child to Eton College...
Yeah.
It is only £40,000 a year.
Only 40,000.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, that's a lot of money.
No, it's not. I think it's fantastic.
40,000 is a lot of money.
I think that's a fantastic bargain.
Yeah, well, considering that you would have to pay tax on that, you'd have to make 65,000, 70,000 before you could afford to pay that.
Well, that's true. But the point is, what I'm saying is that you waste huge amounts of money on things that you don't need to spend.
Rubbish.
Excessive drink.
No, I don't drink excessively
excessive
at all.
amounts of food, eating out, all that kind of stuff.
Not excessive amounts of food.
And
either.
I just think that perhaps you could put your mind to the fact that private education for
you think I spend
kids,
40,000 a year on eating and drinking? You'd be completely off the scale.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, you could get a good independent school for 20,000. Now,
yeah, but I don't believe in independent schools.
Why don't you believe in independent schools?
Because I think actually that private schools should be abolished. I think that we should have state schools for everybody, because then that way society would be less partitioned and fragmented. And if all the kids from every single background went to the same schools in the same areas that they lived in, then we wouldn't have this ridiculous class divide that we have in this country.
But I went to a great school, and it was a direct grammar school.
Well, you went to a grammar school, so did I.
Yeah.
But they don't exist now outside of Kent.
Well, they should.
In Kent, you can still you can still send your kids to a grammar school.
You see,
but the problem for me about private school is that it's not about going to a school which is all about education and all about attainment. It's all about how much money you've got. And also, then your kids only mix with people who've got loads of money. And if you're really scratching and saving and scraping around to be able to send them there, when they turn around to their friends and their friends say, "Oh, we're off to the country house in the Dordogne for the summer," or "We're off to Verbier skiing,"
but that's not the way it works.
Yes, it is the way
it works. Some parents
your kid's best friend suddenly becomes the son of some king of some far-flung state in Eastern Asia. They can't compete with them.
Some parents go without, meat on a Sunday just to send their kids to great schools.
Well, they're idiots in my view.
And the reason is because
they're idiots.
Because there are areas of the state education system which don't work.
That's true. There are areas, but it would work an awful lot better if there wasn't private schooling.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah,
The thing is, Mike, the people who are against grammar schools and private schooling are the class warriors, because what they say
absolutely not that.
No, they're class warriors, because they say, look, these schools are very, very good, and so our experiment...
They're not, though, a lot of them.
Our experiment with comprehensive education has failed so badly...
I'm not in favour of comprehensive education.
It has failed so badly that what we're going to do is we're going to abolish all the good schools so that everybody becomes average.
But you're not listening to me.
It's the war of envy. It's the politics of envy.
It isn't.
They want everybody to be average, whereas I want elitism. I want people to be great. And what are you laughing at?
Because you would be the worst subject of elitism. If elitism actually existed in this country in a massive way, nobody would ever speak to you. You would never get a job.
Elitism's
and you would never, ever be able to get an opportunity in this country.
I don't understand this row about, I can't understand it, David Cameron and all his mates from Eton running the country.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'd rather that a bunch of people from Eton ran the country. Well, because the alternative is, remember the Beano magazine?
Yeah.
Beano comic?
Yes.
The school in there was called the Bash Street Kids.
Yeah.
Now, would you want the Bash Street?
It was fictitious.
Yeah, but I mean, it was all based on political science.
Was it?
Yeah. Would you want the?
Was it really?
Yes, it was. Would you want the Bash Street Kids?
I think it's still going, actually.
Would you want the Bash Street Kids to run the country?
Not particularly.
No, of course you wouldn't.
But the fact remains, as long as
the Bash Street Kids were all like losers. And,
I'm not sure that's true.
It's true. It is true. It wasn't their fault they were losers. But then again, you can't say, look, it's not your fault you're a loser. We'll give you a chance to run the country anyway.
Well, let me
You've got to be
I know you're not very good at imagining.
to run the country.
I know you're not. Yeah, but you can be educated in a great manner of different ways.
Yeah.
If you can imagine what life would be like without private schools, and, for example, David Cameron and his ilk and his children and, George Osborne and all those people, if they'd had to go to state schools, I think the country would be a lot better off.
Why?
Because they would all be mixing together.
No, but they'd all be thickos.
No, they would not
They'd all be thickos.
Rubbish.
They would.
You could still have an education system that was tiered, that was run like a grammar school system, except there wouldn't be any private schools for people to pay for their kids to go to.
You see, again,
far more sensible.
The war of envy, the war of politics.
There's nothing to do with that.
You can't be bothered to send your children to private schools, so you say abolish private schools.
I say our country would be better off without them. You've so far made no attempt to kind of defend your position at all.
No, I defend it absolutely. Listen, we've got a mate in...
Are you feeling all right?
Yes, I'm trying to think of the county. Which county do you used to live in?
Durham, Wiltshire?
Wiltshire. Now, we've got a mate in Wiltshire, right? And the thing is, they're country schools, they're state country schools, but they're great because they're not overcrowded and teachers get time to deal with the parents. Now...
you mean the state schools in Wiltshire?
State schools
in Wiltshire. Some of them are terrible.
Well, some of them are good.
Yeah, well, some of them are not very good.
My godson, Harry, went to one.
Yeah.
He then went to St John's College, Cambridge.
Yeah.
Where he got a 2-1 in classics, despite the fact that when he arrived at Cambridge at the start of his 3-year course, he hadn't even read a word of Latin or ancient Greek.
How did he qualify to do classics then?
Well, he applied for and he got it, but he had to do A-level Latin in his first year, A-level Ancient Greek and all that. But he's a very bright boy, got it, now got a top job in publishing. Yeah. Now, those are the sort of people who run the country. Now, what I'm saying to you is...
Well, he didn't go to a private school.
No, he didn't go to private school.
So there you go, then.
Exactly.
There goes your argument.
No, he made the best of it. I'm saying there's some areas of the state school system which work. There are other areas, like inner cities and all that,
I agree with you.
where because of the pressure numbers it doesn't work. Okay?
I agree with that.
So we've got to have a safety valve in this country, and that is private schools.
No.
It's grammar schools.
Incorrect.
It's elitist schools. You've got to have elitism, mate. If you don't have elitism, how are you going to get bright people to... All the top people in this country, in all the top positions... 95% of them have come through the private school.
Not quite as many as that. But no, listen, but that, in my view, is wrong. And there's no reason why you
wouldn't
can't
have any cricketers without private schools.
Rubbish.
Wouldn't have any cricketers.
There's no
wouldn't
reason.
Have any cricketers.
Would you be quiet for a moment?
Cricketers don't go to state schools.
Would you stop talking for a second so that I can make my point? If you can still have elitism within an education system without having to have the elitism of money. It's not about money. You can still have the most intelligent kids going to the top stream in a grammar school. You can still have those being educated outside of academica, as you would call it, who can be taught to do other things.
The politics of envy dictates that nobody is allowed to be regarded as brighter than anybody else.
Well,
that is the politics of educational envy.
But that's not my belief.
I don't care about your belief.
You don't care about my belief.
Yeah, I don't care about your belief because I'm a student of sociology.
Are you?
And I can tell you that that's the way it goes. Nobody is allowed to assume that they're academically or mentally brighter than anybody else sitting in the same class as them. Therefore, you get no elitism. Therefore, you get no people striving to get to the top because there isn't a top. And if you can't see the top, you can't get there. Yeah. So we have a blind country.
Talking nonsense.
The blind chasing the blind.
Just shouting now.
No,
You're just shouting.
No,
another great area of expertise for Porky, the man who doesn't have any kids. This is Talk Sport. Now it is, of course, that time of the week when we look back at the weekend's sporting action and decide who has been a big winner and a big loser. Since Mike Parry's been doing it, of course, it does extend somewhat outside of the sporting arena from time to time.
Of course.
And once again, that old pairing of Toby Gillies and Mike Parry has come back because Toby wasn't here last week and Mike Parry actually lost, it would seem. And there's been quite a few bits and pieces on social media, on Twitter, welcoming Toby back. Others saying that he actually ruins it for everybody else. But
yes. One man in particular really doesn't like me, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't. But he's only one man. I wouldn't pay too much attention.
Mr. Porky Parry.
Yeah, he's one of Mr. Parry's parody accounts who doesn't like Toby at all.
Is that right?
Yeah, he does.
I don't know I had any parody accounts.
Yeah, there's about 5 of them, actually.
Is that right?
His favourite
The funny thing is most of them are more sensible than you are.
His favourite hashtag for me is plank, which, of course, is one of your words.
It's not. It's one of Mike's words for me, actually. He always calls me the plank.
Yeah, and there's another guy who calls you hoity-toity Toby.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
I haven't seen that.
That's a different guy, yeah.
Toby.
Anyway, so since Toby was off last week, I think we'll give him the opportunity to go first with his 3 losers of the week. And for anyone who hasn't heard this, I decide at the end who should win, winners and losers. So off you go, Toby.
Okay, well, my first loser by quite some distance is Jose Mourinho. Chelsea obviously were 2-0 up against a League One side in Bradford, a 4-2 defeat in the end at home.
They were 2-0 up, weren't they?
2-0 up, I said that,
I thought you
didn't
said
I?
2-1 up, sorry.
Generally accepted by many to be the most embarrassing defeat in the club's history. Jose Mourinho, to give you some statistics, of course, he's only ever lost 1 domestic home game as Chelsea manager. That was against Sunderland before. And he has never, in his entire managerial career, conceded 4 goals at home in any match ever. That tells me that he's been a big loser this weekend.
Yes. Well, I can't disagree with that.
My next is Standard Liège fans.
Standard Liège?
Yes.
Blimey.
Now, I'm sure you've seen this banner over the weekend. They played their bitter rivals Anderlecht, and their former title-winning captain, Steven Defour, it was his first return to the club since he joined the rivals Anderlecht. There was a banner that depicted, it said, Red or Dead, and depicted Steven Defour beheaded in some sort of horrible reference. Well, the fans that did it claimed it was to the film Friday the 13th, but actually it was clearly a reference to the horrible incidents that go on in the world at the moment.
Don't like that one.
And, well, for me, loser isn't strong enough for those responsible.
Exactly. They're not even losers. They're
Absolutely.
They're just saddos.
Disgusting. And finally, Nutella.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely a loser this week because you've obviously heard of the chocolate spread. Others are available.
Of course.
But apparently it's a name that would make you the target of derision. Actually, I think it's quite a sweet little girl's name. But one couple tried to name their daughter that, only to be told in court, this was in France, that it's inappropriate because it would make her the target for derision. And in their absence, they were told that her name is to be Ella. So they didn't ever get to choose it at all.
Well, who took them to court?
They were taken to court. In France, when you try and name your child, if it's something that the authorities don't like very much, or whoever it is that you register the name with,
It's
they
a
are
land of free
entitled
speech.
to. Absolutely. So it goes against free speech.
How
and
bizarre.
Nutella is a name that you can't now officially name your child in France.
How bizarre. How
That's
very
a definite loss for Nutella.
That's very strange, isn't it? Now, Mr. Parry, what would you like to offer as your 3 losers of the week?
OK, first loser, every German football fan. Now that Greece have voted
Why are you so far back from the microphone?
Right, OK, I'll get a bit closer. Now that... because I like to...
You like to sound echoey?
No, I like to expand.
Don't expand too much.
Certainly expanding in one way.
Now that... I'll just ignore that.
Unnecessary roughness.
Yeah,
Yellow flag on the play, I think they say in the NFL, don't they?
Now that Greece have voted for anti-austerity, what it means is the fact that they've bankrupted their own country, they're not interested anymore in paying the price of their self-inflicted bankruptcy. So what they want to do now is start spending the Germans' money again. So Germany now has to foot the bill again for Greece, and it's pluriferate.
Well, we all do.
What's it called? Pluriferate?
Well, profligate.
Profligate spending, OK, and all that kind of stuff. Now, no, it's mostly German.
No, it's not. It's European money.
No. But Germany, the richest country in Europe, they'll be in the way. That means all German football fans are now going to suffer a bad dent to their living standards. When you suffer a dent to your living standards, one of the first things that has to go is your season ticket. And the German football fans now will have to think very, very hard about renewing their season ticket to the next season. So every German football fan is a loser today as a result.
It's a bit of a stretch, that.
No, it's not. Of a political earthquake in Greece.
Having that.
I'm sorry.
I'm not having that. Have you got a better one?
Bonkers.
Excuse me.
That's not any good, that one.
You're not supposed to
I'm the
adjudicate.
adjudicator.
Not until we finish. Right, now the second one is the Football Association.
Oh,
and do you know why?
I know, I don't.
Because it's been the most exciting early rounds of the FA Cup in living memory, and yet they cannot attract a sponsor to that competition.
Oh, yes.
It has no sponsor.
We've done this one before, haven't we?
No, I haven't done this,
Yeah, we
because
have.
these games didn't happen till last weekend.
No, but the fact they haven't got a sponsor.
They have... Sorry?
You've done this before.
No, I've not done this before.
You have?
They have no sponsor and are unlikely to have a sponsor even when the final comes round.
Right.
That's the difference between now and maybe I've done it before.
OK.
And the third losers, any footballer who bought and is driving an Aston Martin DB9 because a report out today shows that the driving seat heats up to uncomfortable temperatures and burns the anal area of the footballer. This is a big
You
problem.
mean the buttocks, surely?
The buttocks, but I don't like use sort of...
Well, I think that would be better than what you did say.
I don't like using anatomical words. And let's face it...
Why is it doing that, then?
Well,
what, you mean the actual the heated seat gets too
hot?
The
heated seat. They've been recalled. According to a report today, the allegation is that these cars have been recalled because the heated seat gets too hot and you get uncomfortable burning sensations.
I have to say, I may have to award you that one.
Surely, if they've recalled them, they'll fix it and it's no longer a problem.
No.
They're no longer losers.
They're driving around with singed...
heated buttocks.
Yeah, with singed
overheated buttocks.
Anal area. Believe me, it's...
Don't say it again.
Yeah, it's...
All right, well, because that was so wacky and off the wall, your other two were awful, by the way.
No, they weren't.
But I have to say, Toby's weren't brilliant either.
No.
So I'm going to give Aston Martin to you for losers. But Toby will have a chance to get back with winners. Let's hear what the winners are.
Everyone's a winner, baby. That's no lie. That's no lie. You never fail to satisfy.
Now, Mr. Parry, would you like to go first with your winners as you're 1-0 in the lead?
Yeah, first winner, maybe a bit obvious, but I'll explain why. Richard Money, Cambridge manager. Why is he the winner?
Why?
The ultimate winner in a weekend of shocks? Well, because he took his Cambridge... he brought out his Cambridge team against United last Friday night and set the format, set the blueprint, set the template for a weekend of FA Cup shocks by drawing with Manchester United on Friday night.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate winner, OK? And
the club's going to get a load of money.
Going to get a load of money for that, but they only get 90k from the actual fees that they get for TV.
All right.
But that will go to their players, OK?
I thought they were getting about $1.5 million or something.
Well, I'm going to have the club in general. I'm talking about what's divided amongst the players eventually.
They're building new toilets, of course.
Yeah, they are.
Well,
that's the stadium.
That's wonderful. Now, the second winner, Jimmy Spears.
Jimmy Spears?
Who's Jimmy Spears?
No, I know. No idea.
Who's Jimmy Spears?
I don't know.
Jimmy Spears, right.
Britney Spears' brother.
Jimmy Spears...
Hey?
No. It's spelled Spiers.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Spears played in the FA Cup final in 1911 for...
Well, he's hardly going to be alive.
Hang on. He's not alive.
So how's he a winner? He's
for
dead.
Bradford. Well, I'll tell you how he's a winner. His achievements have never been recognised until now.
Uh-huh.
But the current Bradford chairman, Mark Lawn, went and bought Jimmy Spears' FA Cup medal for £26,250 ahead of his historic cup tie, OK?
Yeah.
So Jimmy Spears has just suddenly become posthumously the greatest ever Bradford player, all right?
OK.
Because what happened was Bradford won the replay over Newcastle 1-0 in that only ever FA Cup final they played in 1911, and Jimmy Spears was the star of the show, and his medal has now been resurrected.
Has it?
I think that's brilliant.
It is a very long-winded way of putting him in.
And the third one, of course, is a man who's a hero to us all, who has been knighted in Australia today, that great international sportsman, Prince Philip.
Prince Philip, yeah. He was knighted, I think, on Australia Day, wasn't he?
Knighted on Australia Day. The greatest four-in-hand carriage driver we've ever had.
Yeah.
How about that?
Can you name any others?
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you're that far ahead of the list. When you're that far at the front of the queue, it doesn't matter who the other four-in-hand drivers are.
I hope you've got some better ones than this, Toby.
He's blown away like millions of birds. You know, he's a great shot.
You're an animal lover, aren't you?
So I'm an animal lover. A great shot, a four-in-hand carriage driver. Yeah. You know, that man's tops.
Okay, Toby. I hope you've got something better than that,
I've got three better than that.
Have you?
Rubbish.
The biggest winners this weekend are Chelsea.
Okay.
Make no mistake.
So obvious. I wouldn't have nominated them.
Why is it obvious? You come on then, give my answer.
Because it's the sign of the blindingly obvious. The blindingly obvious.
He had Jose Mourinho as a loser.
Because they now concentrate on the other competitions that they're going to win without the distraction of the FA Cup. Because Jose keeps going around saying, I've got a very small squad. I have to play my best players all the time.
Make no mistake. This was planned by Jose Mourinho.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Their Champions League tie with Paris Saint-Germain is very difficult. They didn't care about this FA Cup. They've won it countless times in recent years. Jose Mourinho named a very weak side for this, by Chelsea standards, of course. They now don't face a potential derby with Fulham, which, of course, they can't even contemplate losing because of the bragging rights issues that would bring up. It would be more embarrassing, arguably, than losing to Bradford. That match would have been 2 days before the away leg to Paris Saint-Germain. It's great management by Mourinho.
Yeah, so now they're going to be able to have a rest, aren't
they? My next winner is John Carver.
Yeah.
Nobody wants the job as Newcastle manager, except for him. He's someone who, basically, by all rights, shouldn't be anywhere near such a great job.
Statements are the blindingly obvious.
And he's got a huge chance now to become a very well-respected manager. His career starts
blindingly obvious.
They did have 80 applications for the job, didn't they?
Well, that's the quality of applications they've been getting.
Well, you said nobody wanted
it, though. Nobody of any quality did.
We don't know who those people were.
Well, that's why they haven't given the job to anybody.
Well, okay. Well,
my final winner is Andy Murray.
Yeah,
Andy Murray
back. This is clearly a different player to last year.
Obvious. This is
no problems with his back. Serve vastly improved. Fitness is back, even if he doesn't win the Australian Open. and he will reach the last 4 later on this morning. Murray will be a force at Wimbledon and the US Open again this season. I'll tell you what, Nick Kyrgios...
Well, he's playing at 8 o'clock this morning, isn't he?
Nick Kyrgios is like a bull badger in Murray's headlights. He's going to be frozen to the spot from moment one. It's going to be straight sets for Murray. He's going to be back in the semi-finals of a major.
So obvious.
Stop interrupting. You're not allowed to do that in this competition.
Well, you can get the points taken away for it. That's true.
And Andy Murray is back. Big winner.
Well, I mean, you can't be a winner before you've played, in my view. And
he won over the weekend, which is what this competition is.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Complete
but he's not got himself into the final yet, so I'm not going to go with that. I'm not too happy about Newcastle because there were 80 people applying for the job.
Obvious.
Chelsea, I would give you, except for the fact that Hazard was playing, Fabregas was playing, Willian was playing, Drogba was playing, Oscar was playing, Ramirez was playing, Azpilicueta was playing, Cahill was playing, and Peter Cech was playing.
Let's all be surprised that I've lost.
I can give you that one.
But you didn't like any of Mike's either.
I didn't know. In fact, it's probably the worst winners and losers that I've ever had.
And he interrupted, so he loses a point. It would have 0-0.
Well, no, at the moment it's 1-0 to him on the winners. I don't think either of you have got a winner. The problem is, it's been pointed out to me that Aston Martin recalled the DB9 on December the 31st, which technically means that it's not available for a winner for this weekend or for a loser.
Sorry, no, I'm not having that. You've accepted that already. You're not taking that back.
I didn't have that information,
well,
which has now
been
given to me.
All the information, and it's only been released today, so that makes it current because the cars are now going back. The cars are now going back.
No, I'm afraid
you're not withdrawing that. Not having that.
No.
This is gerrymandering.
I'm not having two of you moaning and groaning. I'm going to declare it a draw.
Rubbish.
I'm going to have a rematch.
Well, who won the winners?
You would have won it, but with your Aston Martin one, winners.
That was losers.
Oh, that was losers. Winners, there isn't one. There isn't one.
What do you mean there isn't one?
There isn't one. There is no winner.
Prince Philip.
No, Prince Philip is not a winner. Jimmy Spears, whoever he is dead, so he's not a winner.
It doesn't matter. Posthumously, he should be a winner.
Cambridge United, in your own words, is such a blindingly obvious one.
No, it's not. It's not.
It shows an incredible lack of
imagination. This competition
and also, Cambridge United didn't win, so technically they can't be winners, can they?
Still in the competition.
Still in the competition, not for much longer.
And does therefore Mike lose also a point for interrupting?
No, because you've both been doing equal amounts of interrupting.
I'm the winner because I won 1-0 in the first round.
There's 2 yellow cards out there on the table, I think, at the moment, and we'll have to have a rematch next week for double points. And next week it will count for 2 wins. Whoever wins it next week, what do you think?
Well, it'd be the same. You'd be the same gerrymandering cheat that you are this week.
No, you see, I've never sat in a room with 2 such bad losers in my entire life. One who spends the time when he's
I'm
not
used
here.
to losing.
Yeah, you're both the losers of the week. I have to say, with your reaction to not winning. So we'll have a rollover next week. 2 points available for whoever is going to be sitting in Toby's seat. I don't know if you're here next week, Toby.
I am.
You are. So
I'm ready to face the battle once
more. And I would
more.
encourage both of you to come up with some better ones, please, because winners and losers this week is an absolute disgrace. This is Talk Sport.
Pyongyang
Star.
Pyongyang.
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 There's a lot of requests for that over the course of the weekend. They want to hear it again with your bizarre pronunciation of the capital of North Korea.
Well, that's exactly how it's pronounced.
By the way, what we should do, because we normally used to do this on a Monday night when we didn't do 4 nights a week, but we don't have to decide it now, but it would be good if you could give us a couple of ideas as to what you want the quiz on Thursday, because I know that you normally complain that the subject matter has been chosen without you giving it any thought.
No.
I mean, I could give you a quiz on education, but that sounds a bit dry, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah,
because a lot of people are not happy about your education and some of the things you've been saying. Axel says, Parry is a massive plonker, one of the biggest small-minded people going. Education is a cover, doesn't mean anything. A lot of highly educated people are fools. And Woodenhead says, I thought Parry was the common man's hero. I don't know why people think that. You're one of the most snobbish elitists that I know. Listening to him blabbering on about elitism makes me think that Mike Graham is the true man of the people. So finally, the truth is out.
No, the truth is not out at all. Of course I'm the man of the people. I'm there to fight for the common man. But I do also believe in social justice.
You believe in elitism?
No, I don't. Look, talking about elitism, by the way. Talking about elitism.
Go on.
I've come across in my study of avionics. An amazing proposal that's been put forward to make flying a better experience.
Oh yeah.
And what happens is,
let everybody go first class.
No, but actually, you're not too far away from the truth. Aeroplanes with the most number of first class and business class passengers on them will be able to leap the queue when they're stacking over Heathrow and LAX and Chicago and all that, and go in first. And the people on the poorer planes, like the budget flights and all that, will have to wait.
That's shocking.
No, I think that's a really good thing.
That is absolutely shocking.
It's a really good thing.
No, how's it a good thing?
Because if you spend more of a percentage of your salary buying a better seat than just
that might not be the case.
Shop seat,
but that might not be the case.
Well, it usually is the case. Then you deserve.
If Mick Jagger buys a first-class ticket from London to New York,
yes,
he's spending a smaller proportion of his income
but
than
Mick
I'm
Jagger
spending
deserves to be treated specially.
buying 4 economy seats for me and my family.
But Mick Jagger deserves to be treated specially.
Well, why
doesn't
he get a private jet?
Well, he probably has got a private jet, but he probably just fly. I mean, when I flew back first class from LAX last time I was there, sitting in.
Did you pay for it?
No.
Did you get upgraded?
No, I was on a job, wasn't I? I was on a job.
So somebody else paid for it?
No, I was on a job and I did get upgraded.
So when you get upgraded then, you're actually falsely loading the front end of the plane because you probably only paid for an economy class ticket.
No, I had a business class ticket, and as I walked on the plane, the chief steward said, literally, "Is it you? Is it you? Are you Porky?" And I said, yes, because I thought there's got to be some advantage in this, Normally, of course, I'd be humble and say, oh, no, you mistake me for somebody else, and potter off down the back of the plane. But no, I had a business class ticket anyway. And he said, oh, fantastic. And then told me that Joan Collins had just rung up and cancelled and I could have her seat in first class.
Well, a shame because she would have had a nice chat with you, remembering old times.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. I've got a picture of me and Joan Collins together.
So you keep saying. You've never brought it in, though.
Well, I'm fine. Don't worry. And so what I'm saying is, I think if you... I
think it's a preposterous idea.
No, it's not preposterous. It's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Rubbish. It discriminates against people like me.
No.
Who travel with children.
Well, I agree that is a problem. But then again, you don't need to get in quickly. You've got your children to keep you company.
What do you mean I don't need to get in quickly?
Whereas...
Well, I wouldn't describe 8 hours transatlantic flying with 2 relatively young children to be in any way something you wish to prolong.
But, Mike...
You want to get it over with quicker.
Don't you understand the way the world works? If there are more first-class and business-class passengers on a plane, like a jumbo, for instance, that's circling around Heathrow, of course that should be admitted into the airport first, ahead of a budget flight, because there's more important people on that plane.
That's rubbish.
No, listen.
What makes you think they're more important?
Because people in first class and business class are people who have a position in society.
No, they're not.
Therefore, they're more important because they keep the world moving round.
You're digging a massive hole for yourself.
No.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm just being practical.
No, you're not.
I'm just being practical.
So you're saying that somebody who's in first class on a plane that I'm travelling on with my children, because I'm in economy, is more important than I am.
Well,
that's what you're saying.
Usually speaking, if that person, for instance, is the chief executive, well, you don't rate in that sort of situation. Nobody cares about you. It doesn't matter.
You don't care about me?
Sorry?
You don't care about me?
Well, I care about your welfare, but I don't care about the fact that you're sitting cattle class. That's your problem because you spend far too much money on booze and cigarettes and junk food to be able to afford decent aircraft seats.
I would not take
I haven't travelled across the Atlantic on anything other than business class or first class for 25 years.
Yeah, but
because I organise my life properly.
You haven't got children. I would not
organise my life properly.
I see people taking kids into business class. It's a very bad idea.
Yeah,
it creates the wrong image. It creates a situation where the children think that they're entitled to something which they're not.
Well,
they haven't earned it. They shouldn't be there.
They shouldn't be allowed in because for other business class passengers, having little kids running around is an irritant. And,
well, there's not a question of that. If you pay to put your children in business class, if people find out an irritant, that's tough luck. But I would not pay to put my children in business class because it spoils them.
I think there's a lot of aircraft that don't allow children in business class. Well, I'm sure there are.
I think they won't upgrade you.
I'm sure. I've
been on plenty of planes where they've had kids in business class and first class. If you buy the ticket, they can't stop you.
Okay, but what I'm saying is,
I would prefer. If I saw you staggering into business class, I'd ask them to reject you. On the grounds you might become a nucance during the flight.
Don't be ridiculous.
I've
never had a problem on a flight. Have you ever been refused a drink on a flight?
I have actually, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
When?
Last time I went to New York.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because we were all kind of
inebriated.
No, I wasn't actually. No, but I was sitting with a very nice because the seats were split into two threes, right?
Yeah, right.
So I had one of the kids with me, and my other half had one of the kids with her, and on the third seat was this rather nice Swedish woman who I got talking to, and
did the mother of your children approve of this?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't particularly impressed. No.
But
I wasn't sitting with her.
A Swedish woman, yeah.
And we started.
And was your child between you and the Swedish woman?
She was, yeah.
So you're talking over your child, completely ignoring your child.
Not ignoring him. No,
yeah.
No, he was on his iPad or whatever it was.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, so most of the time I was the one that was going up to get the drinks. And eventually, as we got nearer and nearer to New York, this guy said, and normally I don't drink that much on a flight because I'm driving, but I wasn't driving at the other end.
Just for about 8 solid hours.
I wasn't driving at the other end.
Yeah.
And this guy said, pardon me, sir. He was, one of these American stewards. He said, but, in the United States, the immigration authorities frown on drunkenness. And I said, I beg your pardon. He's suggesting I'm drunk. He's like, well, no, but you've had an awful lot to drink. I said, well, no, I haven't. I've been getting drinks for other people. Every time I come up here, I'm not getting 3 bottles of wine for myself.
Where are you getting the wine from? Like, they didn't have a bar, did they? You just went up to the galley?
Go up to the galley, yeah. Because now what they do is they bring you 1 bottle of wine with your dinner, right?
And that's it.
And that's it. If you want any more, you pretty much have to go and get it.
Yeah, well, I think that's okay, though, because at least you're in control. You haven't got to wait for a trolley to go up and down.
No, exactly.
Do you have to pay for it?
No.
No, right.
No, it was free.
Okay.
And I
Which
said,
airline was this?
This was British Airways, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
And I said, well, look...
So what was an American guy
they have American air crew on British Airways flights. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, of course they do.
I've never come across one, but
no,
anyway,
you don't fly as much as I do.
No, but
anyway,
I fly the flag when I do, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy was quite... I said, I take gross exception to you suggesting that I've had too much to drink.
Exactly,
It's absolutely outrageous. I said, I'm perfectly fine. But they're really funny about alcohol on planes now. They don't want you to drink more than about 2 drinks over 8 hours.
I went to Chicago a few years ago.
I think you get a shock the next time you go.
Well, maybe... Well, I've told you already about what happens in Santa Monica restaurants. So they don't let you...
Yeah, but that's what it's like on planes now.
Yeah, but no, well, that's why I wouldn't travel on an American plane. British Airways are brilliant to me. But I went to Chicago once on an American Airlines it was, that's right. And I had so much to drink on the plane, I could hardly walk. And it was because it was a facility trip, so people were pouring wine down your throat and all that, and booze and,
that's the normal state of affairs if you get off a plane, isn't it?
Yeah. But I can't believe how I was admitted through immigration in Chicago. I could barely stand up, and I'm ashamed to say all this, but it was a long flight and all that. But on another occasion, Mike, when I was, the head of things at the Daily Express, I paid for our crime correspondent to go to an England rugby match in Paris. He'd done an excellent job, the couple of weeks before, big investigation, all come from. I said, look, John, we'll get you a ticket for the rugby game. You're a fan, and you can go. Oh, he said, oh, thanks very much. And although John liked to drink, because he mixed with a lot of coppers all the time, you know what I mean, and had drinks, I'd never really seen him inebriated and never had a problem. Anyway, I got a call the next morning from the police at Heathrow because he'd got back on the plane in Paris to come back to London, and we'd got him a business class ticket, and he demanded champagne, and there's run out of champagne on the flight coming from London, and he started wrestling with people. And
really? I can't imagine him doing that.
It was unbelievable. Yeah. In the end, he was restrained and taken off the plane, and we had to send somebody up to the Nick at Heathrow. Right. Where's it at? It's not actually in Heathrow.
So in Hounslow.
Hounslow. So no, Hayes is it? Something like that. I don't know. And it caused a bit of a problem. So you've got to watch it. You've got to be careful drinking on planes.
You have to be particularly careful.
People say you get dehydrated and all that.
Well, they say it's not very good for you.
The best one is flying to New York for lunch when you get there about 1 o'clock. Yeah. But actually, of course, it's 6 o'clock. Yeah. In your head because you've left Heathrow at 11 o'clock in the morning. Right. And you just go on through the day, and you actually have a 30-hour day. But I've never been dehydrated after a 30-hour day, flying to New York and having lunch and then dinner. Yeah,
that's why. Yeah. Toby has tweeted this. Mike Parry interrupted me during winners and losers, so why no point deducted? Should be 0 -1 to me.
He's a bitter man.
He is, isn't he?
Very bitter.
To make it clear, to clarify, it was a draw, and so what we're going to do is
we're going to go... I got awarded a point. He wasn't awarded any points.
We're going to go for a double rollover next week, next Monday, and 2 points will be available. So it'll be like winning twice if you win next week.
Look at the lights! Don't forget to come back tomorrow for another sparkling, as fizzy as a bottle of champagne, podcast from the two mics. In my view, everybody in California is mad. No, they are. They're all nutters, aren't they? They go around towing bits of rock behind them on leads because they think that they give them more spiritual satisfaction than a dog.